I'm Sarah Jesudasan. I'm a member. I actually ran into Dawn while she was helping somebody else I know who was working on a clothing line, and she gave me her card, and I looked up Portland Apparel Lab and thought, that's the actual kind of maker space I really want to be in. I've been sewing pretty consistently for about a year. I gave myself a project to make myself a dress per month, and I've lost count of how many I've actually made. I've gotten to the point where I'm tweaking designs or making my own. I want to start doing that for other women. I want to get into like ethical sourcing of fabric and more completely original design. And I love having the access to people who know things and the equipment that I have here.
Yeah. I'm Jennifer Thomas Elder. I've been in the industry for 15 years. I don't want to work by myself in a tiny little closet anymore. So when I heard about Portland Apparel Lab and their association with a successful ADX awesome platform, I was really interested in what they're doing. I don't have access, right? I'll just pause.
It's our first apparel day out there, so
Yeah.
we're launching it, so it's loud and a lot of happening things.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm an independent designer, so I don't have access to machines that are going to be thousands of dollars. I want to work in a community of people who are like mind. I want to teach people what I know. I want to learn from them, and I want to source fabulous, sustainable fabrics with other people. I think that that's something we could really leverage, and I am a working member.
Okay. Great. And so you said you've been in the business for 15 years. How do you think this will help our community, Portland Apparel Lab?
Well, I think Portland has a ton of talent all across the board in all forms of art. It's a beautiful place. It's abundance. People are attracted to that here. We really need to put our foot down and put a stake in our creative intelligence here in this community. This lab can do that by bringing us together, by creating a collective voice. Mm-hmm. We all know that that's more powerful. Go Hillary! You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it can, it's one of those things that you can be alone in your closet or alone at your dining table forever trying to do, and not really having that access to even sharing the ideas with other people or getting those little nuggets of wisdom or feedback. It can be pretty lonely, or make you lose steam pretty quick.
Yeah, and when you get that stopping point, when you hit that stopping point and you don't have anybody to talk to, because the apparel industry has this idea that you should know everything already, which is super bizarre. We need each other to say, hey, you should put a cover stitch on that puppy. And then you're like, whoa, okay, that opens my world, and that can really launch you into a whole nother level of professionalism.
Right. And collaborating with each other to make each person stronger and more creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that sustainable element, how do you think that's going to help, the community? Obviously, what does sustainable fabric and design mean to you?
Well, sustainability has the three legs. We know about the social, the environmental, and the economic. All three of those things are extremely challenging in the apparel industry. Mm-hmm. We've hit on the social aspects of the isolation, and the collective aspects of buying power, which are what LA and New York already have, and places like Italy we're really launched out of. But we also need sustainability and how to sustain ourselves, how to make a business so that we can actually live through it without, having adrenal fatigue or something terrible.
Right. Well, and there's also, on the production side of that fabric, if we pull together, we'll have a bigger voice with suppliers to say, you know, we want this ethically sourced. We want the people who are weaving this to be treated fairly, paid, you know, compensated fairly. The cotton growers to be paid a fair wage for, you know, a fair amount for what they're growing. And that's actually like that little thing where this little city can have an impact globally, which is pretty cool.
Totally. We're global.
And less toxic material, right?
Absolutely.
That plays into it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of research on new fibers, and there's no reason that we can't be at the forefront of that with all this natural beauty around us. I'm currently researching nettles as a fiber. Extremely sustainable scenario, much more sustainable than cotton. But there are a lot of fibers out there that we could influence the market globally
Right.
if we had the buying power to do so. Not like we're thinking big here at all.
No. We're just going to take over the world.
You know,
Fairly.
all in a day.
And having access to the equipment, and especially
Totally.
for startups, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so expensive to just even get into the business, right? Without, you know, not having the money to do it. So
Right.
it just kind of creates
So
that
much.
platform for startups.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the CAD software alone, a seat of that can be $5,000. I don't have that kind of cash when I need to sit there and invest that money in fabric and production. But you can't get a producer if you don't have the right setup. If
Right.
you don't have a production package
Okay.
with the CAD software.
And that's what they will provide here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And is there anything else that you're realizing that they can provide here that will help people just starting out, or?
Well, the
or just-
materials library will be really important. That is educating people about how fibers behave, getting a chance to play with them, getting to talk to people who have worked with them, and then that exploring,
Yeah.
what can we do? How can we order this? Can we call the supplier and be like, we want 7% spandex in this now? You know, because we've worked with it together. What did you get, Lisa?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Right.
I think that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I think so too.
So the collaboration is a really big part of this, of PDX,
Yeah.
or PAL.
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's huge.
So I'm Ingrid McDowell Hardy, and I am a local business owner, and I'm connected to ADX through a relationship with the owner and founder, Kelly Roy. I recently did a pop-up of my own that brought together local makers here a couple months ago, and from that experience, I started to do what's called the Urban Marketplace in inner Northeast Portland.
Wow. And how did you get that started?
ADX helped me launch it. Kelly was the first person to provide us with a space, and so everyone thought it was so much fun being here and connecting, and it was specifically targeting diverse makers of color, and so we decided that we wanted to continue doing it, so we found a place in inner Northeast that would host us ongoing.
So
Yeah.
that's what got that moving.
Yeah.
ADX helped you actually to make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so how are you going to be connected with PAL as well? Like, as a member,
Well,
or-
I know lots of makers who are in textiles and apparel, and so I definitely want to encourage them to connect and know that there's a place where they can rent out sewing machines, and also maybe it'll be a chance for them to leverage their business and be able to hire staff who could then come in and work on the machines, and then they, increase production and give them an opportunity to utilize the space, for, a reasonable amount of money.
Right.
That's important.
Right. And how do you think this is going to help our community, or how has like ADX and PAL? How do you think it's helping our communities in general? Like, obviously, it helped you.
Yeah, I just think it's really unique that it's really helped to provide an affordable place for makers who do both hard and soft crafts. I think that's really important. I think that, oftentimes people are priced out, of really trying to scale their businesses because they can't access the machines, they can't access the, the necessary resources in their local community, and ADX is a perfect place, and they provided an opportunity for people to be able to access that.
Right. So this is kind of an extension from ADX. I mean, they're working together.
Definitely.
We're part of that.
Yeah,
In helping
yeah.
this happen.
Definitely a part of being a supporter of makers in the community, for sure.
Yeah, great. Okay. Anything else you want to add about your, you can also talk about your business or your hope if you feel like it?
Yeah, well, I would just say the
we edit all this.
Yeah, well, I would just say With Love from Portland is it's a gift box company. We curate local makers and we curate their products into gift boxes, and we share them with people all over the city. And we're really proud to be from Portland and based here, and we're really excited to see what opportunities arise from connecting with makers at ADX and the Apparel Lab.
ADX made me come here tonight, and I got an email from Portland Apparel Lab to start up their company. Yeah.
Okay. And how are you? Are you a member?
No, I'm not a member.
Are you planning to become a member, maybe?
Yes,
Okay.
I plan to become a member because I moved here 3 years ago from Los Angeles, and I used to have a sewing studio in LA. Used to involve industrial sewing machines like a Juki and an overlock, and that was, I got rid of that and moved up here. So I hope that I gain that back over here.
So you want to start up?
Yeah.
So having this place will give you a place to kind of get back to growing your business?
Yeah, growing my business, because it was a business there in Los Angeles, and now I hope I can move it over here, in Portland, Oregon.
I'm Susan Stearns. I own a company in town called Rain Baby Gear Designs. I work with laminated fabric and make baby and kids products. I actually got connected with the lab a couple of years ago when Dawn and Crispin Argento held a meeting in the Contemporary Arts Museum to talk about the importance of having a hub to grow a vibrant apparel and sewn product industry, and I was at that original meeting. So I met Dawn way back then, and my connection now is that when she sent the first email announcing the connection with ADX, I emailed her and offered to help with fundraising. So she calls me the first working member, and I've been working with her on fundraising and strategizing to get corporate sponsorships to get PAL off the ground and get to the open house tonight.
Wow, so tonight's the open house. How does it feel for you to have it be the first open house night here?
It's very exciting. I actually was in cleaning the fridge and mopping the floors the first day she had access to the space. So when I wasn't fundraising, I in fact was helping seriously clean a very dirty space, and we've come a long way in about 2 months.
Pulled it together
very
just in time.
Yes,
Very exciting.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you are?
My name is Britta Cabanos, and I don't have quite the history as Susan does, but I met Dawn and Crispin also. They came to our office. I have a design studio called Creative Capital Design, and we're a consulting company. We work with large and small apparel, sportswear, mainly athletic based clothing lines. So I met them through a visit, and we got connected, and we heard about what Dawn was doing, and she asked my partner and I to be on the board, and so here we are. And that was maybe 6 months ago when she was just getting things rolling, and super excited to be on the board and part of the local Portland apparel design community.
How do you think it's going to help our community, having PAL here in our community?
I'll jump in on that one. I think it's going to be a huge help because as a design consulting firm in town, we get inquiries all the time from smaller designers or designers who have left Nike that have some concept that they want to pursue. And there's really not many options or places for them to go. And so we've always been looking and kind of, just networking, talking to people, doing research, looking for factories, studios, seamstresses, pattern makers, and having this here as a resource. I think, if people know how to sew already, they can come and use the facility. If they don't know how to sew, they can come and learn. They can spend as much time or as little time here as they want. So I think it's going to be a great resource for those type of creatives.
Yeah, especially small startups who really can't afford to even get a sewing machine, right, for what they need it for.
Yeah. And
So
oftentimes they might have one machine, a home machine. They're maybe working in their garage, But to have the buttonhole, like the buttonhole machine was huge because that was a very expensive piece of equipment that nobody can afford, and they got it, and that alone is, just having all the different equipment in one place that, they don't have to go and purchase it will be great.
And what's your view on that? Like, how do you think it's going to help our community as well?
In so many ways. So I would say my background actually is healthcare policy, and I'm new to the industry and the design world. And so all in all, I think the role that the Portland Apparel Lab is to actually reduce the barriers of entry to people with an idea who want to actually take a product to market. And that I've had to figure out all of my own sourcing, all of my own design, all of my own pattern making, and I've enjoyed all of that, but it has really been my initiative to sort of pound down the doors, ask a lot of questions, and find the resources in the community. And the role of PAL, and I think the function, is to actually really better leverage and create a hub around what exists today, and then how to really grow that to really expand a vibrant apparel industry where Portland designers can come in and get connected to the resources and not have to figure it all out on their own. And that I actually have done a lot of collaboration building, and so it's fun for me now to think about how to apply those skills to a new industry for me, because it's really definitely the mantra of we're better together. But if I can make a new designer or help a new designer with 10 contacts that I made, I'm happy to share that information and share my sort of war stories and the bruises that I got as I was trying to get my company going, and have them save a year and a couple $1,000s or more than that of money to at least get their product to market. And that the flip is, I think it just better leverages a lot of talent and resources in Portland, and right now it's very disparate in the apparel and sewn product world, and that the concept of how we better support and grow an industry for the small and medium-sized businesses, and really leverage, I think, or take advantage of the gap between nothing to Nike, Adidas, and Columbia, and that,
And your garage.
well, and exactly. So everyone knows the big guys, but there's just this entire employment, business, food chain that is the small and medium-sized guys, and we just want to better coordinate and leverage that. And it's technology, it's CAD software, it's knowledge, it's just relationships, it's just a forum for an industry to grow. And I think it's also it's buying power. So then, for lack of a New York or LA sized garment district, it's the opportunity that we can go in on buys together and get, $5,000 worth of thread that actually services, 40 or 50 businesses, and we're just getting better buying power, all of that.
Wonderful. And how is it going to be a little bit more sustainable, or how to bring sustainability into design? Is that something that PAL is hoping for to do?
I don't know how much I can speak to that.
Yeah.
I work with a very unsustainable fabric. I got plastic.
Yeah, that's a tough one it's a tough one to answer. I guess if you think of sustainability as in maintaining a business and growing the business as opposed to like an environmentally type of thing, I don't know the long-term plan specifically, but I know Dawn is thinking ahead and things that she'd like to do here in the future, such as workshops. And so sustaining the business and the support that it can offer people, I think, is definitely a long-term goal. And you can sustain the designers as, if they are starting in their garage and then they just take baby steps to grow. And like you were saying, there's going to be so much support here. And what I've found is in Portland, people really support each other. It's, it's not a
They definitely support each
competitive,
other.
you can be designing ties and you can be designing, blankets or whatever, and people support each other. That's what I have found here in my experience. And so I see this as even more of it's a collaboration. I think people support and sharing the war stories and learning from each other instead of kind of, fighting against each other. So I see it sustaining itself as a longer term growth. for the industry here and just supporting designs.
And the collaboration and bringing people together so they're not isolated in their garage on their
Yeah.
own lonely,
Yeah.
trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
So is that the hope too, the collaboration of bringing people into the same?
And there's people on the board, so I think there's 6 or 8 of us on the board, and it's not just apparel people, we have an attorney, we have some business people, we have finance. So there's more outside experienced experts that can help someone if they need guidance on writing a business plan or financing, figuring out how to do all those things. So you don't just come here just to use a machine. You can actually get business advice.
Right,
You
get
can
business planning.
sit down with someone and try to make a business plan. Because a lot of creatives, I think, I can say this because I'm creative on the creative side, is if you don't have a clue about the financing or what it takes to get it off the ground, you might have a brilliant design, but if you can't get it out the door and seen and shown, like how do you make it out there? So to have, I guess, the resources here for other types of help and support is part of the whole PAL.
Okay, great. So thank you for all the efforts and
Yeah.
building it from the ground
Okay,
up.
Yeah,
building
this is fun.
momentum. I was like, come on,
Go
Dawn,
Cal.
we're gonna go raise $10,000.
Yay, Dawn.